Interesting to note, there's a VIN number down here. This tells us where it was made, when it was made, and this is Black Knight. I've named it that. You will not believe how much, or is that little, has gone wrong in that time. We're going to present you with the top 5 things that have gone wrong with this car in the 5 years that I have owned it and driven it. I'm Dave, this is Dave Takes It On. Now, when I picked the car up, it was 4 years old, very low mileage, and it came with a Tesla 4-year manufacturer's warranty on the whole car and the 8-year warranty on the battery and the drivetrain, which was at 4 years as well. So I had the benefit of a 4-year warranty period on everything for the first 4 years I owned it. So during that time, didn't pay for anything. After that, I've had to pay, or have I? Because for the last year, I haven't paid a penny for any of my maintenance work or repairs or changes or anything. Going to explain that in a minute. You need to keep watching for that because you too can get totally free servicing. One of the first things, and the most annoying thing that this car has ever done to me, was it didn't do that. It's such a silly thing. These handles, when you walk up to them, they present. When you're driving, they retract in for aerodynamics, so it cuts down the energy consumption. But the driver's side just failed, and it's a common problem, I'm told, with these. Now, I've got 4 of them. One of them in 10 years has gone. It was this one. And it would be the driver's, of course, and you just couldn't get in. So you had to go round the back and open it or climb across the side. Now, this was while it was under warranty. And as it happened, I was actually just about to go on holiday the next day, and I was wondering about how to get the car booked in so that when I came back, I wouldn't have to book it in and find that I couldn't use it easily for a couple of days. But when I went on the Tesla app, it gave me an option of a home visit. It's a common problem. They do this at home. So I selected home visit and I told them I'm going to be away on holiday in Spain, Tenerife, wherever I was. And they said, no problem. We don't need your key. We don't need anything. We can access your car. We can do it while you're away. So I went away, had a lovely holiday, came back. Not so nice coming back, but when I got home, walked past the car and the handle popped open. Now that to me is service. You don't have to take the car into the garage or the service centre for every little niggly thing that goes wrong with it. There are some things you have to, but that was not one of them. Now the second thing that went was actually technically getting the car off-road because this headlight failed. Now, yeah, it's not legal to drive a car at night with just one headlight working, so I don't risk it. So that again was a straight call through. It was outside of warranty, so unfortunately this one I ended up paying for. Now, it's a totally integrated unit. It has the headlight, the main beam, dip beam, running lights and everything all built into one unit. And these are sealed units, and they are in theory everlasting. There's nothing gone wrong with that one in 10 years, but this one, for some reason, did fail. We got a bit of moisture inside it, and then shortly after that, the indicator stopped working in here, and then shortly after that, we got all sorts of warning messages on the screen. So it needed replacing. So once again, there's no need to go anywhere. They'll come out to you, they'll take the old one out, they'll put the new one in, and because I was paying for it, these are horrendous money. And it's not Teslas. This is Mercedes, BMWs, everything nowadays. If you look at the headlights of any car, we've got a little Peugeot over there. We've got other cars, little Volkswagen Golf. The headlights are now integrated units. These, if you have a little bump in a supermarket, these are 300 or 400 quid wherever you go. And this is one of the reasons why your insurance premiums are so high, because if you have a little bump, 300 or 400 quid automatically. These are a bit dearer. This one I think was about £800, something in that region, 850. But they came out, they fixed it, put a new one in, and that one still hasn't gone. So that one's 10 years old. This one's less than a year old. I'm expecting, if I keep the car another 10 years, that both of these will actually last. And I'm sure this was an anomaly. Not sure what caused it, but it was an anomaly because there are older cars than this with original headlights. We're getting into much more serious things now. We had to have suspension replaced on this. It surprised me, and I wasn't aware of this, when I took it into a local garage for new tyres. You don't have to go for Tesla for new tyres, you can get them anywhere, as long as you use the proper ones. The mechanic there had one look at it, and he said, oh yeah, love them, Mercedes suspension. Well, I sort of said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, the early ones, Tesla didn't make their own suspension. This is straight off a Mercedes. So if anyone says the suspension goes on Teslas, the early ones, they also go on the Mercedes as well. It's exactly the same. It is just bought in by Tesla, fitted onto their Model S's in the days before they had the factory set up to make much more of that themselves. So with this one, what happened was I was getting a clunking, and then on the MOT, not the last one, the one before, I got a warning which said there's something going on there. Advisory, there was nothing to stop me driving it, but it was an advisory. So of course, got in touch with Tesla. It was at the time under warranty, so they took it in. They had it for the best part of the day. They handed it back in the evening, no charge whatsoever. And I'm told it was an upper suspension arm and a couple of ball joints. So again, this is nothing new to EVs. This is just suspension. And why did this one go? Well, have a guess. When you're parking, which wheel is going to hit the curb first? When you pull in forwards, this is the one that hit. When you reverse in, bang, you hit the wheel again. This one will get more wear and tear than that. If you hit the curb with that one, you've got serious problems. But this one regularly hits the curb. And that's why people often have these aligned, the wheels aligned every so often, because a little knock on the curb can actually put your alignment out. Anyway, that was a lovely, simple one. Not only did they do it free of charge, I got a courtesy car as part of the warranty. And the courtesy car on that occasion, oh, wish I could keep it. It was a Model X 100D, P100D. This is, yeah, it's a dream. A 7-seater, 0 to 60 about 2.5 seconds. These are just crazy cars, but it was lovely to drive that around for the day while this one was being repaired, free of charge. Well, before we get on to the much more serious, and yes, it has had a serious collapse, this one, in its history. But before we get on to that, there's a load of little things that just didn't make the top 5 list. One of those is the screen. We have a computer. On this one, there's a driver's dashboard in front of the driver. And that one is starting to delaminate at the edges slightly. Still working perfectly well. There's nothing wrong with the operation of it. It's just that it looks like something's going on at some point. That will probably be an issue, but it's all working. In addition to that, on the dashboard, some of you eagle-eyed ones might notice park assist unavailable. Whenever we're driving along and we come to stop, this will look for parking spaces for me, and if it finds one, there's a button I can press on the screen which says please park it, and it will self-park. A lot of EVs have this nowadays. I get error messages from time to time telling me it's not working at the moment, but then as soon as we set off driving, it'll clear, back to normal. One other thing an awful lot of people tell me is these go through brakes at an amazing pace, cost me a fortune. They're big heavy cars and they will go through more brakes. No, these are the original discs, calipers and pads. They have never been changed. So this is a car coming up to 100,000 miles. It has never had the brake pads replaced. And the reason for that is regenerative braking. Most of the time when an EV slows down, it doesn't use brakes, it uses regen to recharge the battery, and that slows the car down. So for all you out there saying, oh, you're going to go through brakes, or these produce pollution from brakes, no, they don't, because they don't use it. In fact, if you look at the handbook, it tells you once in a while you must press your brake pedal really hard to activate the brakes, otherwise they seize up. Imagine that, having a set of brakes that if you don't use them really hard once in a while, just seize up because you're not using them. Adding to the list of niggles, we've got the modem. When this one was built in 2015, there was no 4G, there's no 5G about. So this is an older model, an older technology. And I got a warning on my display telling me, this was about a year ago, that the 3G network is progressively shutting down and switching over to 4G and 5G. And at some point, my display would stop working. And I actually noticed this last year year before, when we went to the Harrogate Everything Electric exhibition, and when we were on the motorway listening, we got interruption with the radio. It was searching for channels and whatever. Sorry, not radio, Spotify. And that was starting to become an issue. So again, I got a display that eventually came up on the screen, which says, you need a new one. Do you want one? Yes. Booked it in, free of charge. They came out. They just took out the old modem, they put in a new modem, and I was back up and running in about half an hour, and it's now 4G capable, still won't do 5G. That brings me back to the screen, because the screen is still original and the driver display is still original. So these are 10 years old. There is nothing whatsoever wrong with them, apart from any computer or smartphone or anything that's 10 years old is not as fast as it is today if you go and buy a brand new version of it. So I find it perfectly acceptable. However, Tesla, as well as offering a modem upgrade, free of charge, they also offer a full display and driver display upgrade. It is priced at something like £1,400. People often go, oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. Have a look how much your iPhone 16 or 17 cost you, 16, because they're over £1,000 new now. So you can buy a smartphone for £1,000 quid. You can have the whole of this just replaced for about £1,400. What that will give me is a lot more access to things like YouTube and Netflix and things like that, much faster processor, much quicker and snappier screen, and it would obviously replace the lamination I seem to have going on with the driver display. I'm not doing it, for the simple fact is it's doing everything it always was doing, and it's doing it perfectly well, so £1,400. It's not worth the money to me. Now, if I was out on the road as a rep and I was having to charge and sit for half an hour every time, then having an ultra-fast Netflix or YouTube channel on display might be more important to me. It isn't at the moment. I generally spend 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes on a charging session, and most of that is in the services or wherever it is I stop. So I will park, plug in, I'll go to the services, I'll go and have a coffee, I might have a snack, I might have a sit down and walk around, stretch my legs, and then I come back 10 or 15 minutes later, the car's got as much as I need, and I'm off again. I don't sit in my car while it's charging. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because it's very timely, because this car's going to go in on Monday. People say, hang on, you're out on a bank holiday. Yeah, the garage, the Tesla service centre is open on a bank holiday Monday. This car's booked in. It's confirmed as going in. Okay, right. So what's it going in for? Well, because they require so little servicing, every so often you just put the car in and say, look, just bring it up to date. Now, one of the things you do have to do, and we'll be having done on Monday, and that is the brake fluid. Brake fluid is hydroscopic or hygroscopic, whichever it is the case, and that is it can absorb water, and when it absorbs water it becomes less compressible or more compressible. Anyway, it's not good for the brakes. So every so often you should have the brake fluid checked, and they test it for water content. If there's none in there, that's fine, carry on driving for another year or two. If they find water in it above a certain level, they do a brake bleed and replace the fluid. It's a really simple process. Happens on all cars. Again, this is not EVs, but it's less common on these to replace it because you just don't use the brakes as much, so the brake fluid gets less wear and tear. Many of you will have seen I've got a warning display, that is the park assist unavailable. Pops up every now and then, no idea what it is, but while it's in there on other things, they're going to have a look at that and see if they can identify why that pops up from time to time. It's not an issue, there may not be anything, it might just need a reinstall of the software and a reboot, I don't know what they do, but it's not bothering me, so it's not a failure, but it does pop up from time to time. The other thing I'm having a cabin air filter put in. These are the air and pollen filters that will filter out everything and make your experience inside the cab a lot nicer. Windscreen wipers, they always check those. If they need replacing, they'll be replaced at the same time. But the main thing I'm doing here is tyres. I'm doing an experiment with tyres at the moment. Some of you might have seen just about 2 years ago where I was replacing tyres and people were asking me what I was installing. But when I got the car, it was on Pirelli P0s. And that was what I put back on it the first time the tyres went. I've had this for 5 years, so tyres do go. But a number of people ask me what's the difference between a Pirelli, which is a premium tyre, and a budget tyre. You have to be careful on these. These are heavy cars. So these have to have a special heavyweight car, and it's ideally you can have one which is designed for an EV because they do use the tyres differently. But in the EV tyre range, the heavy duty ones, the most budget type one I could find was a Bridgestone. So I put some of them on the back and I thought I'd run a comparison. It's way early days yet, they're still in perfectly good condition, so there's a long way to go before I have to replace them, but I'm going to compare that with how quickly the Pirellis wore out and see if we can come up with a definitive answer to, is it worth an extra 50 quid per tyre to buy premium tyres? Hope to have an answer. And coincidentally, we were actually having a coffee and the Tesla engineer rang me today. The car's going in Monday to check a number of things. And he said, I told him what tyres I had on. He said they can't fit either of these, the Bridgestones or the Pirellis, because the Tesla recommended one on this is Michelin. So when it goes in on Monday, I'm getting 2 Michelins fitted to it. But he did say, why have you got a mismatch? And I told him about the channel and the tests and everything else. And he actually said, this is the Tesla engineer. He said, Dave, would you tell me the results when you wear these out, how long they lasted? Because I get asked so many times by EV drivers, by Tesla drivers, is it worth putting on the Michelins or the Pirellis? I hope to have a definitive answer for my car. Might be different for yours, but for my car. So it's going in on Monday. It's going to have 2 brand new Michelins put on it, and with a tyre rotation, a wheel rotation, what they do is they will take the rear wheels off and they will balance them up and put them on the front and swap them over. They'll take the front ones off. These tyres, they're perfectly legal. They don't have to be replaced yet. I've got a few thousand miles left on them, but I don't ever let my tyres get really low. Stupid to do that, because as the tread depth decreases, you do get less braking. So I just have a point where, yeah, they've had their best, let's get rid of them. So what's going to happen is those 2, the Bridgestones, are going to go on the front on opposite axles. These 2 tyres will be recycled or whatever they do with them. They'll go on the back with the 2 new Michelins on. So we can start doing comparison between those tests. At the same time, they do all the balancing and dynamic alignment and everything else. This is once every 2 or 3 years. Just get it done properly. Obviously, this is one everyone's been waiting for. Many of you have probably skipped here anyhow. So what is the worst thing that's happened to this? And it was a big one. It happened within the first year of me owning the car. Luckily, it was under warranty, so none of it actually worried me, but it did show me what can go wrong. The car was 5 years old at the time. It was lowish mileage, probably in the 40,000 range, something like that. A little bit higher than average, but not much. And I was down in, I think it was Berkshire or somewhere with the car, and came out, set off driving, and all of a sudden I got a load of warning lights, stop lights, and never seen it before. I got an orange tortoise. Now, people often talk about tortoise mode, and that is where, for whatever reason, the car battery management system or the car energy overall system will look at it and say, there's something gone wrong here. Maybe your brakes have gone, maybe whatever it is. We can't have the car driving around. So your first stage is normally an orange tortoise or a yellow tortoise. Funny to see, but they just slow it down. So almost immediately the car started slowing down quite dramatically. I was in a small country lane, and then within seconds it went red, and the car just literally coasted to a halt. I was in a very narrow country lane just at the approach to a bridge. It was a nightmare. So straight out, these come with warning triangles. So the triangle went out to stop anyone else coming running into me. I got back in it. I found I could start it. The tortoise disappeared, and I was able to pull it just into a little bit of a lay-by, just off the road alongside the bridge before it came back on again. Straight on the phone to Tesla. They instantly talked me through it, do a full reset of the computer. do this, do that. They had to look at it remotely. All these cars are talking to Tesla all the time. They had to look at it and say, Dave, you're not going anywhere. What's happened is the battery coolant level is below the minimum. And that means that the battery can't operate at its normal efficiency, so the system is shut down. Nothing you can do. Would you have a look underneath for a leak? Had a look underneath, nothing at all. They said, that's fine, leave it with us. Now, under warranty, what you'll find with Tesla is they arrange a courtesy car for you. It was about 5 o'clock, so the Tesla service centre locally was closed. Well, locally, it's about 30 miles away, was closed. So they arranged for, I think it was Enterprise, or Hertz, they would come out to me and drop me off a courtesy car. And I got myself a BMW 520 diesel sport. That was the nearest they had to this. At the same time, they arranged for a flatbed to arrive. That arrived before the courtesy car, and all they did was they winched it up onto the back of the low loader, and off it went. And it actually went, can't have been in Essex, because it went to Birmingham, strangely enough. So off the car went. Now, because it was under warranty, I never did get a full list. I've never looked on the screen. It doesn't worry me what caused it. All I know is, well, I had some sort of issue where the fluid went. They took it in, they fixed it, did a load of analysis and testing of everything. And in the end, they handed it back to me, and it's been absolutely fine ever since. So it was a serious issue, and this is something that it's not unique to EVs. It was a big catastrophe. It was a major repair that was needed, but it turns out it was just low fluid. So they were checking more for, is there any residual damage caused by when it was running with low fluid, rather than trying to find out anything else. So apart from that, the car's been virtually trouble-free. Oh no, I tell a lie, one other issue. The air conditioning is cut out at the moment. I had that replaced under warranty in May last year. Again, we've got all the history on this, and all the Tesla warranties or Tesla repair work comes with a 12-month warranty. So I put it in last year when the air conditioning started blowing a bit warm. What they did was they drained the system, they weigh the amount of refrigerant that's in there to see whether it's sufficient. And they said, no, it's absolutely bang on where it should be. You lose a little bit every year. It needs replacing. So they flushed the system out, they pressure tested it, got no leaks. They put a dye in it when they were filling it back up again. And that dye, if ever you do get a leak, will show it's fluorescent. So if you get a leak, it'll show where it's leaking from. And they filled it back up again, sent me on my way. Less than 12 months later, it's blowing warm again. So I'm not sure whether something's gone from that or whether there's something more serious, but they're going to have a look at that at the same time. That isn't under warranty. However, one of the really nice things about this, I've got to say a massive, massive thank you to all of you viewers who have decided that this is the time to buy your first new Tesla. Because with every new Tesla, you can use a referral code. Now, if you know someone who's got a Tesla, a friend of yours, ask for their referral code. If not, mine is down below in the description. What the referral code does, it allows both of us to benefit. So anyone buying a new Tesla for the first time, when it started, they were offered £1,000 off the price of a Tesla, and I was offered £500, thank you for referring them. That's now changed with the launch of the new Model Y refresh. They're not so generous anymore. It's now £500 to each of us. But over the time, a good number of people who watch this channel have used my referral code. So I've now got a little bit of a buffer stock in my account with Tesla. I can't draw it out as cash, it's not money, but every time I use a supercharger, or every time I want something from the shop, or every time I need to have servicing, repairs, or buy something, goodies, I've just got a couple of t-shirts from them, I can use that credit balance instead of paying for it. So when it goes in on Monday, it is highly unlikely that I will pay anything for that whole visit myself. It also means wherever I drive in the country, we drove down to London XL for the Everything Electric show. Every time I topped up, it was, you can set your supercharging primary account, you can set your default payment as your Tesla wallet, your Tesla account. So every time I use a supercharger, it's free. Now, that means is I've got a funny situation. I can charge it home overnight for 7p. Why would I when I can come here and charge free? So thank you very much to everyone who has used my referral code. And I strongly recommend, if anyone out there is going to be buying a new Tesla in the future, only applies to the first Tesla you buy. If you've already got one, you can't get another one. But it applies to the first Tesla you buy, and you'll get £500 currently off that. For those of you getting your first EV, if it is also a Tesla, and have a look at your home charging, what utility company, what tariff you're with. One of the best ones, and the #1 in the UK at the moment, and what most people think is by far the best, is Octopus. And Octopus themselves, they also offer one. It's not quite as generous as Tesla. It's £50 to each of us. So if you use my referral code for Octopus, you will get £50 added to your utility balance when you open an account with Octopus. And I get £50 as a referral fee paid into my Octopus account, which means an awful lot, even if I did charge at home, a lot of that charging is actually still free of charge. Strange. Anyway, that's it for now. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been informative to you. This is not impervious to any sort of breakdowns or anything, nor are they massively dangerous and prone to collapsing everywhere. This one, in 10 years, I have probably spent, well, I've had it 5 years, but in 5 years, I've probably spent no more than £2,000 in wipers, tyres and everything else. But for the first 4 years of the car's life, that again, the owner would have the original warranty. They wouldn't have paid anything other than tyres again. Some of the original ones we met, actually I don't know if it's the sister or brother car. Anyway, we were in Burton Wood Services. It's a Tesla supercharger dedicated to Tesla, and we had the next number plate to it. So this was literally the next car that was sold at that time. That one at the time did have unlimited free charging. Now, imagine this, 2014, 2015, you can buy one of these, and with it, Tesla say, right, if you buy one of these, the car will have unlimited free supercharging for life. So you can go to any supercharger anywhere in the world, charge, you never get paid for it. And when Tesla say for life, it's unlimited mileage, so you don't have a cap each year. And it's also literally for the life of the car. And the sister or brother one we saw in Burton Wood was actually one of those which had the unlimited lifetime supercharging free of charge. He was actually, if I remember right, he was a taxi driver. He did school runs and things for the council, and that was all totally free of charge. This one would have had that free lifetime charging without a doubt. However, because I bought it through Tesla, they swapped my unlimited free mileage for a 4-year all-inclusive warranty on everything. And at the time, I thought, if I'm charging at home, it's only going to cost me £150, £200 a year to charge it. So a 4-year unlimited mileage supercharging is not worth that much to me. If I was paying 85p, it would be worth a fortune, but it wasn't. And I also thought, buying a second-hand car, I also had my doubts about how long they last, batteries and everything. So to me, a 4-year manufacturer's warranty on a used car was worth more than the unlimited mileage. Now, since then, obviously, I charge it home. It's down to 6p now with Octopus overnight. That means a full battery on this is probably £4, £5. Yes, nothing. And with the wallet I've got at the moment, the credit in my balance, I can charge a supercharger free. So it was actually a good choice of mine because I had that major calamity very early on. And then I think the suspension was over £1,000 on there. There were a lot of things that I think I made the right choice. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's also put some of your minds at rest. These are no worse, no better than anything, but for servicing, these are 1,000,000 times cheaper than anything else you can buy, which has got thousands of mechanical bits whizzing around at a high old rate of knots. So thanks very much for watching. I'm Dave. So it seems you like the channel. Maybe you'd like to support us some more. Our YouTube membership starts at just £1.99, and that will get you access to loyalty badges, customer emoji, and members-only shorts. For a little more, you get behind-the-scenes photo updates, members-only videos, and member shout-out. And our most loyal supporters get member-only polls to help shape the channel direction. Also early access to new videos and priority reply to comments. We'll also still be running our Patreon page, thank you very much all the existing members, where we post behind-the-scenes content and have an active community chat. And on the occasions we do channel meetups, we'll be communicating them to our loyal supporters.